Good morning, wrestling fans. Welcome to PWR today for Thursday morning, May 13th, 2021. The man they call Meathead, Matthew Thomas. We've got a lot of big news. Good morning, Matthew. How you doing?
I'm doing great. I'm nice and rejuvenated after such a wonderful night of professional wrestling last night.
Yeah, professional wrestling at its best. Let us talk about our sponsor first, Matthew. And again, let's get this sponsorship deal in under, say, a minute here, pal. Who sponsors the show?
Oh, let's see. Have you started the stopwatch? That would be Collar and Elbow brand, which I believe if you were perusing the wrestling show that we're going to discuss here in a few minutes last night, a man, I almost said A&E, Aew Dynamite, I believe you saw a Good Brother Summer article of clothing that you can get over at Collar and Elbow brand. And while you're over there, if you want to pay full price, more power to you. I mean, there's some people that don't want a discount, but if you are one of those people that would like a discount, 10% off of your purchase, all you got to do is enter the promo code Linda K. K is spelled Kay. So what you do is you enter Linda and then you enter K, and then
you
save money.
Okay, there you go. See, we'll get Matthew Thomas under that clock. You guys ever wonder when I say let's do a crisp and clean 20 minutes and we end up running at 28 minutes? We'll get Matthew under there. We'll get his.
That's because we've already had to stop the recording one time this morning because I don't know, man. I think we should have let the audio.
We should have let the audio roll on that one.
They would have found out about some good pizza deals.
Yeah, if there's one thing the man they call Meathead talks about outside of the wrestling world and, sports world is where to get the best frozen pizza and where to get the, toppings and what you're putting on there.
So it's instructional and educational. It's kind of like, I don't know if you're familiar with this term or not. I learned this term the other day. Meathead, are you familiar with scam rap?
Scam rap?
Mm-hmm.
No.
It is a new genre of rap music that during the actual rap itself, you learn how to scam people, and it's a real thing.
Yeah, I'm going to have to go check that out. But, honestly, maybe on one of the special editions, we'll have to, do our pizza talk. But I'm going to put this out there. I know you're listening on Facebook, on YouTube, on Apple, podcasts, on Spotify, on Stitcher, on, wherever you're listening. I want to know, yes or no, pineapple on pizza. Matthew, we'll wait for the results. And we'll talk about it on a future episode. But we got wrestling news to talk about. First off, the WWE is inviting more fans for NXT at the Capitol Wrestling Center. The people that are on the invites to go to the NXT shows got a message that says they are opening up their capacity. They're going to be adding more people to the shows at the CWC for NXT, starting with next week's Tuesday night show. Your thoughts on the race, it seems, between AEW and WWE to fill the building and to get out on the road?
I think it's hopefully a sign of things getting back to normal. And my goodness, it's made a difference in the last couple of weeks of AEW programming.
Yeah, CWC is going to have more real fans in there and not plants coming up with next week's NXT show. Speaking of competition, AEW Dynamite's go home for the pay-per-view Double or Nothing will have to go head-to-head with WWE's Friday Night Smackdown on May 28th, Memorial Day weekend. AEW Dynamite will be bumped off of its Wednesday night airing due to the NBA playoffs. So, tickets for the 5/28 Dynamite and 5/30 Double or Nothing pay-per-view will go on sale next Monday, May 17th at 10 a.m. Eastern, 9 Central. You'll also have the opportunity to buy combo seats for $60. Head on over to AEW, I believe it's allelitewrestling.com. Take a look at that. Matthew, they're going to start selling the building, and it is time. We, again, are hitting the road. AEW's, the Florida governor has opened up business for everybody, full bore. And, they're not seeing a rise in cases. So with multiple, vaccinations out there, with, the placebos that everybody's been taking, with the the coronavirus seeming to fade into the sunset, it's time, Matthew. Let's get on the road.
think the next AEW pay-per-view is going to be a very interesting show to watch. We had people back at Mania, but this is going to be honestly the last couple of weeks of AEW. The way that building and that crowd has been mic'd, it honestly has felt more like a live crowd than I think Mania came across on TV. So when you actually see that place at full capacity in just a few weeks, my goodness, it's going to be a wrestling show to watch.
Now, I have to retract what I believe I said either yesterday morning or the morning before. AEW's Dynamite for Friday, May 28th, and Double or Nothing will still be at Daly's Place. I believe I had said erroneously that it was going to be in Miami. No, they are going to be running this still in Jacksonville at Daly's Place. So Dynamite on Friday, May 28th, and Double or Nothing on Sunday, May 30th, still at Daly's Place. Yeah, they're going head-to-head with WWE Smackdown on that Friday night. So,
see, I think that was a report you read from your favorite rumor mill, thedirtysheets.com.
TheDirtySheets.com. It's ironic because I also saw a lot of bed cleaning stuff in there, and there was an ad for Merry Maids. It was weird. Let's move over to AEW and talk a little bit more AEW. Tony Khan providing an update on Ricky Starks' neck injury. It is legitimate. Rico, otherwise known as Ricky Starks, hurt himself in a match against Hangman. Nobody at fault. He just got hurt. They're going to pull him. They're going to pull him off TV for a little bit of time, and hopefully he heals up. Apparently Ricky Starks has been working with DDP Yoga, and maybe he's nice and loose. Maybe he's didn't hurt himself as bad. But Ricky Starks, up and comer, he used to be Damian Nelson's favorite wrestler as well. But Ricky Starks with an injured neck.
Yeah, nice to see that they're acknowledging and giving him some time off as opposed to somebody that's up and coming like that, trying to work through something. That's the thing that, at least now in 2021, you'd like to think that a little bit of that mantra of, that was out there for years back in the day, you work hard or else, you lose your spot and don't get paid. I'm happy to see some of that hopefully fading into the sunset a little bit.
Right. Yeah. I mean, the guy shouldn't have to work through a broken freaking neck to, put money on the table. The health is first. So I'm glad that Tony Khan and the rest of the company at AEW are going to be looking out for Ricky Starks and pulling him off. Let's talk rankings here real quick before we get into what happened last night on Dynamite. As of yesterday, before the show aired, the men's rankings. Kenny Omega, the champion, at 4-0 in 2021. Darby Allin, as of last night before the show, was 9-0 in 2021. And the TNT champion, the number one contender, Orange Cassidy at 8-0. Pac at number 2 and 5-0. Jon Moxley 7-1 at number 3. Brian Cage 6-1 at number 4. And dropping down to 5th is Adam Page at 8-1. The women's rankings. Champion is still Hikaru Shida. She's only 3-0. She's only wrestled 3 singles matches in 2021. That bothers me. The number one contender, 10-1, Dr. Britt Baker, DMD. Number 2 is Thunder Rosa at 10-2. Number 3 is still Tay Conde at 11-3. Number 4 is the Native Beast, Nyla Rose, 8-2. And number 5, Red Velvet at 6-1. And finally, the tag team champions, the Young Bucks, only 4 matches in 2021. They are 4-0 as a tag team. Matt and Nick Jackson, the number one contenders, 13-0. They've gotten 13 wins, undefeated in 2021. SCU, Daniels and Kazarian, followed by the Varsity Blondes at 11-3. Scorpio Sky and Ethan Page rapidly climbing the tag team ranks, 6-0. The Acclaimed 7-2, and FTR at 4-0. Now, Matthew Thomas, let us talk about AEW Dynamite from last night. We were going to have the number 1 and the number 2 male contenders for the heavyweight championship, Orange Cassidy and Pac wrestling. We were also going to see in action the number 3 contender defending his IWGP. I used to think it was always I want to get banged, IWGB, but it's IWGP, so I want to get something. I don't know. We're going to see him in action as well.
Pretzels.
Yeah, I want to get pretzels. And we're going to hear from the number 5 contender, Hangman Adam Page. Also, on the women's side, we will hear from Dr. Britt Baker, the number 1 contender. See in a match, Thunder Rosa. And we also see in a match, Red Velvet. And then the tag team belts will be defended against the number 1 contenders. Again, if Kazarian and Daniels lose, they will break up as a tag team because, Daniels isn't retired. Don't make me pound that drum some more.
He's not retired, and I was almost a little concerned that what he told you several weeks back about how he was most likely going to die in the ring, I was concerned that was coming very close to actually happening last night.
Coming close to fruition. Let's talk about Dynamite from last night. Kicking off the program, the IWGP United States Heavyweight Title match. Tony Khan talked New Japan Pro Wrestling into having this title match on TNT live in front of an American audience, and it happened. It was the U.S. champ Jon Moxley with Eddie Kingston against Blue Justice Yuji Nagata, accompanied by Ren Natari. Moxley came out to the Trogs. Mm-hmm. The Trogs. I really, as he came out, I'm like, is Ricky Vaughn coming out for the safe? Wow thing. Wow thing, I think you moved me, but I want to know for sure. Wow, that's cool. I mean, I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
And what a great match. Your winner and still champion, obviously, Jon Moxley. Respect from both, and respect to each other at the end of the match. Your thoughts on this amazing opening match?
Never underestimate the difference that a theme can make. And I know you, as a big wrestling theme person, can certainly appreciate it. My goodness, that change in theme from Moxley, it made that show start out of the gate. I mean, that coupled with the crowd that was back there, what a great entrance. And my goodness, I mean, the pairing of Moxley and Kingston, I think, is working. And the touch, if they can run with that music, I think it fits Moxley.
If they're
really
good,
good.
Of course they can, but I mean, it's going to cost them money.
Yeah, no, it's gonna cost some pretzels, that's for sure. But no, you said, I think last week when we were talking about this match being announced, how this match needed to open the show, and sure enough, it did. And I think this was the right way to start the show. And let's go back to our discussion of NXT yesterday, putting your 2 out of 3 falls match at the last show. They were going over the New Japan rules and whatnot. It was announced at the start, 60-minute time limit, putting it at the beginning of a 2-hour show. This made sense. If you're suspending your disbelief and looking at this as an actual professional wrestling contest, it makes sense to start it with that, and then putting your TNT title at the end of the show, which the TNT title, if I'm not mistaken, the rules on that is first person to a submission, a pinfall, or TV time remaining, huh?
TV time remaining, right? Exactly. So, I mean, that's some old school NWA/WCW TV title rules there. So, and WCW was referenced last night by Shivani on TV. So, I like that they can talk about it. Again, I understand competing companies shouldn't be talking about each other, but you know what? It's there. It's history. It's okay to talk about. Let's talk about Alex Marvez interviewing 3 of the 5 members of Inner Circle: Ortiz, Hager, and Guevara. What is this I hear that MJF had Santana arrested for stabbing him with a fork?
Hey, I mean, somebody stabs you, I think you should try to get the law after them.
You're lucky I didn't take your fork and eat your eyeball. Come on, man. I mean, it's funny, but they looked serious, and they call out the Pinnacle and say, we want a rematch.
Yeah, AEW doesn't mess with all the eye removal matches. That's WWE's gimmick.
That's a WWE world when Ray lost his eyeball and Seth Rollins was taking eyeballs. Okay. The American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes, making his way out. You and I talked about this before we jumped on the air this morning. Who's Cody referring to? Is there a reference in there that I'm not getting?
I have no idea. This thing went, I mean, Cody's impassioned promo went a good, 2-3 minutes before I really had any idea who he was addressing or what was going on.
The best part about it is, he calls out Anthony Ogogo for a match at Double or Nothing. He says, look, America is beautiful. I'm going to have a beautiful baby that's half African-American, half Cody Rhodes. And for one night only, when I fight at Double or Nothing, I'm going to be the American Dream, Cody Rhodes. That was impassioned. Yeah. Save for the reference of the person. Again, I don't know who the hell that is. It was a great promo.
Yeah, no, I mean, at some point I realized that, okay, this is, in QT Marshall's stable. I got who he was, referencing, and then I mean the promo really turned for me when he referenced his soon to be born child, and I mean that's really where the promo kind of turned for me. I got involved, and then of course the segue into the American Dream. So I think this was a really ended up being a very high spot of the evening.
The AEW World Tag Team titles are on the line with the Young Bucks, Matt and Nick Jackson, along with backup. They have Don Callis and the Buenos Hermanos and the aforementioned T-shirt that we told you about from collarandelbowbrand.com against the number one contenders, SCU, Fallen Angel, Christopher Daniels, and Frankie Kazarian. SCU has to break up if they lose this match. Now, I was entertained for a second when he said, "I'm sorry, I love you." And he mockingly did that. He was mocking Shawn Michaels to Ric Flair, the WrestleMania match. Daniels bleeding like a stuck pig. And Christopher Daniels could barely move. There was blood everywhere. The final spot in the match where he started punching him right in the head and then pinned him. Oof. SCU, no more.
Yeah. What's so interesting about this is, you normally expect a lot of your juice towards the end or in a main event. This is our second match in. And we're going to reference that, of course, but I thought overall this was an outstanding match. Probably my favorite match of the night. They told a great story there. And I think that the blood
Styles clash by Kazarian as well, and called the Styles clash.
Yes. You might have to go back to that Cody and Dustin match very early on in AEW if you want to revisit a match that had this much blood, which I didn't see. I didn't watch that match live, but this was almost akin to, do you remember the Bash at the Beach? Not Bash at the Beach, Great American Bash, probably 2004, Eddie Guerrero and JBL, where I think Guerrero's blade job, he actually got an artery. This was almost along those lines. I mean, that whole ring, man, everybody that he came in contact, the freaking spot with the blood dripping on one of the Bucks' shoes. I mean,
the laces were soaked.
Yeah, man, this was some pretty gruesome stuff to watch. I mean, that being said, I don't think it was gratuitous in the point that this was done for an effect. This told a story, and this match told a great story. Oh, my goodness. And that is one thing that I do give AEW credit for. This is not something you don't necessarily expect to see. We haven't been conditioned to expect to see something like this 2 matches into a free TV show. This I thought was
happened on a
match.
super kick into the ring post, I believe, is where it started.
Yeah.
So Kingston and Moxley destroyed the Elite's private dressing room afterwards because they were disgusted by what happened. Christian Cage, in an interview backstage, talks about how Taz at one time was a bad man, but he's not so much anymore. And he's got an open contract for next week. But Matt Sydal interrupts and says, "You know what? I'm already signing your open contract. I'll see you next week, pal." Your thoughts on Cage and Sydal?
I just think that if Christian Cage really wants to prove that he outworks anybody, he would have gone and cleaned up that dressing room. I mean, hey, he does it all, right? The guy doesn't take a lunch. He cleans the floors, man. He could have at least gone back.
You know what I'm hearing from Callis over and over? And it's a phrase literally I used to use when I was, back in the day of 15. You're going to have to pack a lunch, kid. When I used to be a small-time pool hustler in my teenage days, when we go from community center to community center, we had the number 1 ranked team, right? We all knew how to play, and we played well. We'd walk in and go, "Hey, you, pack a lunch. Hey, you, are you going to be playing me? Pack a lunch." To hear Callis continually refer to packing a lunch again, that has just been taking me back.
I think my favorite Callis line of the night was during the SCU Bucks match when it was Shivani, I think, was referencing that Christopher Daniels had held one of the Bucks' sons, and Callis immediately jumps on him for bringing children into the whole situation. I thought that was a nice little touch.
All right. So, number 1 ranked, freshly squeezed Orange Cassidy taking on number 2 ranked Pac. Both men send their groups to the back. The winner of the match, no one. Orange Cassidy and Pac, double DQ. Well, not double DQ, but double KO basically. Here's Callis, here's Omega. Omega attacks Pac to have them both laid out to a 10 count. Shivani comes out and says, you know what? I just got word from Tony Khan because you interfered, and now we don't have a winner. How about a triple threat? So at Double or Nothing, it will be a triple threat. Kenny Omega facing Pac and Orange Cassidy. 3-way match. What do you think about that?
You know what? I think this will be fun. And after seeing the interaction with Omega and Cassidy last week, I kind of changed course and said, okay, I think this is going to be worth seeing just for the crowd reaction. You know what? I think a triple threat, you're going to have Cassidy in there for the crowd reaction, but you're still going to get that very, very physical match between Pac and Omega. I think it's going to be a little something for everybody in this, and I think that was the right call.
All right. I want to talk about Hangman real quick. He says, why don't you leave Taz and meet me one-on-one in a ring, referring to Brian Cage, and earn your spot. Brian Cage, if I lose, I can accept it. For you, it's Double or Nothing. Johnny Hungy went off and said, dude, you said Double or Nothing. That was awesome. That just kind of made my night right there.
Yeah, who would have thought that Page with the Dark Order would work as well as it works? I was very skeptical of the whole thing, but it's a good happy medium where, yeah, he didn't join him initially, but
he hasn't joined him right now.
Yeah, he's just kind of back there hanging out with them, and he's not going back to lone wolf Adam Page where he's troubled.
He's not even troubled, sad, drunk. He's happy drunk right now.
Yeah. So they're doing what they need to do. And the good thing with this, too, is, it gives him a chance to get some of his momentum back from Cage. And I think the fact that he's dropped to 5 in the rankings is a good thing because you want that slow burn of him gradually moving up the rankings and becoming the number 1 contender. Because I believe he's going to be the person to take it off of Omega. And you're really going to have an Adam Page run.
November.
Yeah, you're going to have an Adam Page run. A face champion as the face, a babyface champion as the face of AEW. My goodness, I mean, when I look at the AEW as far as the roster goes, I think the 2 people to hang your hat on right now as pretty much AEW homespun talent is Adam Page and MJF, and one can be a super over babyface, one can be a super over heel, and I think that is your 2 ends of the spectrum for AEW right now.
10-4, the Inner Circle, the Pinnacle, the Blood and Guts match from last week ended with Pinnacle getting the victory, and they're here for the coronation. Long story short, I don't want to go too deep into it, but MJF is wearing a crown because he is the new demo god. And what I found really entertaining, AEW flashed up the printout of the ratings. They were the number 1 ranked cable show last week.
Yeah.
Number 1, beating basketball, beating whatever. Number 1. So an air horn continued to interrupt the coronation. Was that an air horn or was that supposed to be a car horn?
I took it as an air horn, but
I took it as a car horn, and I thought it was kind of poorly done because I kept looking at the driver of the thing that was coming in, and I didn't see anybody hitting the horn, so it must have been an air horn.
Maybe it was a foghorn.
Yeah, it might have been a foghorn, because there could have been ships coming in. Anyways, Sammy Guevara, Ortiz, and Jake Hager are in a custom Inner Circle golf cart. It looked reminiscent of the one they had at the Stadium Stampede from last year. But Sammy's up by a hose, and I'm like, yeah, here it comes. The back of the thing says a little bit of the bubbly. I guarantee you they're going to be spraying it with champagne. Here it comes. I can't wait for it. I'm actually excited about it. Here it comes. They ask for their match. They say, why would you do that when you're already down 2 men? Jericho pops up from the back wearing a major sling over his left arm, and they hose down the Pinnacle in in the ring with all that little bit of the bubbly. Now, the match is set for Double or Nothing, right? They said, I'll tell you what, you can have your match if we do what you lost at last year, which was the Stadium Stampede. And if you lose, Inner Circle has to break up. Thoughts?
I think quite a few people hold the Stadium Stampede from last year in high regard, and I don't think it's anything wrong at all with going back to that well. And I will say before I discuss the actual segment itself, prior to this segment ever taking place, and I think it was after you know what, it was right after the SCU Bucks match where we've got something going on in the back. We got to go to that tonight, or last night had an Attitude Era feel to me.
Yeah.
It kind of felt like WWF/E, that Crash TV stuff back in the day where you just got so many different things going on. You're going all over the place. And this really, when you've got somebody spraying somebody with something from a vehicular object, it's like, all right, I'm all in. This is this does have that Attitude Era feel.
Yeah, it was a great show. Good old JR sits down with Britt Baker, DMD. What a surprising. I mean, she's great on a mic. She could talk, but I actually was taken back by her talking. Britt Baker can talk, and this woman needs to have Sheeta in a match, and she needs to become a heel champion.
Yeah, that's who AEW, that's talking about that AEW homespun talent. That's who you hang your hat on in the women's division now. Just what she can do in ring, what she can do on the mic, and you've got such an interesting package there in the fact that this woman is a professional dentist.
A professional. She legit has a dental license.
Yeah, not like Kane Dentist,
Isaac Yankum.
This is legitimately somebody that, if you need a crown put in or you need something done, you need some dental work done, she can actually get down to business and do that.
Thunder Rosa in a squash match against Jasmine Allure, and then Tony Schiavone interviewing Jade Cargill, but really we need to talk about it. The main event, the TNT title was on the line. Nice little video package that played beforehand. Darby with no makeup in that, and then comes to the ring in a different set of makeup. He didn't have the split face. He had the bottom half painted, or the top half painted, and then he had his neckline and his bust painted as well. Darby Allin with Sting at his side, taking on the best man, Miro. I think we could all smell the writing on the wall here. Miro was going to go through Darby Allin and become the new TNT champion, which he did. Darby survived long enough to make it a great match, but referee Paul Turner stopped the match. The new TNT champion, Miro. Thoughts?
What a great reset AEW has done on Miro. I thought the thing was lost, man. I thought they were dug in to Miro talking about how much he loved video games, and we got so much of that for so long, and as you were getting that week after week, I did not know that you would actually be able to rebound from it, but they have done that with a vengeance. And this, to me, what I saw last night, I mean, it looked like Tank Rusev, and I think they deserve a lot of credit. Miro deserves a lot of credit. And AEW, I've seen a change. We had weeks on end where we were talking about, my goodness, they've really botched a lot in the women's division. It was really, was it after the last pay-per-view? When did we get Britt Baker and Thunder Rosa? Was
on
that
TNT? That's been a couple months, about 2 months.
Was that after the whole thing with Omega?
That was after the Omega
the fireworks. Yeah. Okay, so after that, I mean, we really have gotten what I feel like is a reset overall in AEW as a company, and a lot of that water that they were treading from week after week, my goodness, they have put together some cohesive weeks that have really flowed into one another. It seems like they've gotten much more disciplined as far as consistently featuring talent and storylines from week to week, so you can actually build some stars and make some stars. And I think Miro is one of those. They have done a great job of rebuilding this guy and turning him into a monster. And my goodness, he's your TNT champion now.
I want to take that and then segue into the Murder Hawk monster, Lance Archer, coming out right after the match.
Oh, great.
Was Jake Snake Roberts having a heart attack there for a second? Because when he went to hold back Lance Archer, he was holding his chest as well.
Yeah,
what happened?
I got concerned. And then it looked like he grabbed Lance Archer's hand for a moment there too. I guess he was just trying to, he was with a lot of excitement, and he was just trying to, keep him back and hold him back. But yeah, that was something I wasn't even speculating who's next for Miro, but I see Archer come out there, and I'm like, my goodness, that is such a great matchup between those two. They did.
I'm more worried about Jake, to be honest with you. He would have said, "Oh, easy, I'm coming." I thought he was Red Fox for a second there.
Oh my goodness! Oh my! You know that's not where they're going, you big dummy.
You big dummy. Yeah. That, by the way, that is a Sanford and Son line too. Thank you, Matthew Thomas.
We used to have a lot of Sanford and Son talk on various incarnations of this show.
Yes, we did. Ethan Page and Scorpio Sky that went after Sting until the Dark Order ran them off as well. So Sting limping a little bit. It was weird when Scorpio Sky and Ethan Page went after him. I saw Sting walk with a limp. I don't know what he's got going on, but Sting not moving very well.
No, so hopefully he's all right there. But AEW once again this week, I feel like by a very large distance, putting out the best wrestling products on television.
10-4. All right, we're going to talk tomorrow again with Matthew Thomas. We're going to review everything that happened from Impact Wrestling and, kind of get us into SmackDown and what do we got going on there. It's going to be the go-home, and we'll talk about WrestleMania Backlash this Sunday as well. We'll preview and predict what we see happening. Plus, this Sunday, right before WrestleMania Backlash, the PWR draft for the 21-22 season will be happening. The rosters are official. It is now a 3-person season. Matthew Thomas, Linda Kay, and your reigning and defending champion, the man they call Meathead, will be drafting new teams this Sunday, 2 o'clock Central, 3 o'clock Eastern. We're going to be putting that out there for you to watch. Plus, we'll be able to see it in the archives. Make sure you're with us this Sunday for WrestleMania Backlash and the PWR draft for the 21-22 season. So for Matthew Thomas, I'm the man they call Meathead. Hey, thanks for stopping by. So long, everyone.